What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Extending the Conversation on the BodyCompRx YouTube channel. My name is Jake.
I'm Jesus.
Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at BodyCompRx. Today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into recovery, more specifically, recovery tools.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, go ahead, check out episode 5. Episode 5 is about recovery as a whole, what it is, why it's important. But today in particular, we're going to talk about the different types of recovery tools that are out there and our personal favorites, our opinions on it. So yeah, I think first one we should talk about is Hypervolt Theragun, any kind of massage gun. It doesn't have to be actual branding. You can get one off Amazon for fairly cheap nowadays. Seems like nowadays everyone has one, right?
Yeah, for sure. We both have one, a Hypervolt. I stand by mine, to be honest. I'm a pretty big fan. I think that it's a pretty good tool as far as at least what I need. I know that I'm more of a like intermediate, not necessarily advanced lifter, but the amount of muscle damage that I do in workouts and such, I feel that the Hypervolt is a really good addition or thing that I keep around to help kind of speed up the recovery. Um, yeah, I think it's worth the money in my opinion, but I know it's not necessarily the cheapest option around. And like Jesus said, there are definitely cheaper non-name brand massage guns out. So, I think giving those a try might be worth the time. I don't know. How do you feel about Hypervolts and Theraguns and stuff?
Yeah, dude. So originally, Jake got his Hypervolt first. It was not my first experience with it, but he got it first. And so, of course, when we were roommates in college, he had it with him.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, before that, I was like, you could go without it. And then afterwards, I started to use it a little bit more. And then I was like, oh man, like this is actually, I don't want to say it's life changing, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps speed up, you know, especially for example, like me, myself, like Jake's into lifting. I'm more into like, running. I do a little bit of lifting as well. And, there's days where you end up really sore, but you still have another workout to hit the next day. And,
Mm-hmm.
or there's days where, if you hit legs really hard and your quads are so sore and your hamstrings are so sore, you could barely walk, right? This helps you gain a little bit more mobility, gets the blood flowing a little bit more. So I stand by, any massage guns. If I know it's not the cheapest thing out there, but if you could afford it and it's something you're willing to invest in, I say it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of the main companies now too are realizing how many like knockoffs that there are. So what they're doing is like they're making like little takedown models and making them like the travel options or the to-go options or whatever you want to call them. So that way they can have a little bit more competitive like price point, which I think is still cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's another pro of massage guns, honestly, is how like portable they can be. You can at least my Hypervolt kind of like breaks apart and I can always like throw it in my backpack. I know I've taken it with me on several like vacations off of like flying and stuff, how like your back and your neck gets kind of tight and your legs get sore, stuff like that. So I feel like that's a pro, but why don't we why don't we talk about something maybe like a little bit more on the affordable side? I know you mentioned earlier when we were just talking about more like the creams and stuff, like the creams that are meant to like heat up your skin and help that way. Like what is it called? Like the BioFreeze, the Tiger Balms.
Hmm.
Um, what
There's
else?
so many. There's so
Yeah,
many.
yeah. Pick whatever name you want, but those are a lot more affordable. You can get those a little bit easier at like a local drugstore or like a Walmart or a Target or something like that. Um, I guess I'll just go first. I mean, I personally think they're kind of cheeks, to be honest. I've used a couple different brands over the years, and I feel like it doesn't do enough for me. I feel
Hmm.
like it does what it says. It's gonna warm my skin, but beyond that, I don't feel like it helps like relieve body aches or like
Hmm.
help repair my muscle tissue. I feel like it's very like superficial. Like it basically just stays at the skin layer. It doesn't really get deeper than that. So I don't know. It's a decent option, but if you're someone who gets like really deep muscle pain and aches and stuff, I don't know, maybe a different option would be better. What do you think?
Mhm.
You ever tried any of those?
So yeah, I have. I first I want to say, the idea of going from like, putting ice or simply like a hot pack on whenever you're injured or something sore hurts. This is a good option. I think that's the reason why these balms and creams try to mimic, right? When you put it like a hot pack, instead of using a hot pack, you use the cream. But
Hmm.
like Jake said, they don't. I don't feel like they get deep enough. If your injury or if your tightness, soreness is more superficial, more like on the skin level, maybe that would help. But when you're like sore, like after big like heavy lift or big workout, I don't really necessarily think it's the best option. I had experience at a PT clinic where this clinic would use it on every patient, right? um, but I wouldn't say this was the reason why they always felt better when they left their session. I think they felt better because they worked a lot on mobility. We did massage them with our massage guns, and the PTs also massaged them with manual therapy. So there's many different factors at play, but I wouldn't say a balm or cream was the answer to feeling better and recovering much faster.
Yeah, that almost seems like it's kind of like about the experience, since like um it's almost like the cherry on top, like if you're
Hmm.
already getting like manual therapy, like someone's massaging you, if you're getting a massage gun, if you're going through mobility and stuff like that, you're already like getting a lot of work done, so like does it hurt to do like the cream on top of it? Like, no, it sure it helped a little bit, but nowhere near as much as those other things, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I say for the creams and balms, any of those, I say these are more of the cherry on top. Not necessarily your go-to.
Yeah. You mentioned a good one that I'm actually a really big fan of, the manual therapy route. So like physical like massage, whether it be like from a um an athletic trainer who does like sports massages or something like that, or whether it just be like a massage parlor where you just go like and get like a Thai or a Swedish or whatever kind of massage. I'm actually a really big fan of those, to be honest.
Mhm.
My mom loved getting massages, and like that was her like that was her thing to do to like treat herself. So I got to go when I was very young, and I got to experience this, and I really stand by it, to be honest. I feel like once I got into lifting and got into like hardcore like breaking my body down, it sounds like a bad thing, but like when I got really serious about like my progress and wanting to build muscle and stuff like that, I feel like massage was one of those things that helped me kind of stay consistent, because it's not like a weekly thing, it's not even like necessarily a monthly thing. But when you feel like your body's like really broken down, um I would like go get a massage and take a couple of days off from the gym after that. And then I would feel like a brand new person again, because of how like um, how deep they were breaking down my muscle tissue and stuff. It like really just forced my body to speed up recovery. So I'm a big fan of massage. I know that that's not like the cheapest option either, but sometimes you can get a massage for a decent price, and I think it's a good thing to do, especially as a stress reliever too. I think that
Hmm.
plays a role, but I
Hmm.
don't know.
Shout out Groupon. A lot of times you could find a
Hmm.
pretty good deal,
Oh yeah.
and try a new place out for fairly cheap. Yeah, I think manual therapy. If you go see a PT and they do some manual therapy on you, if you simply just go the massage route, those are really good options. I think the whole point of recovery is gaining your mobility back and your strength back, right? So I
Hmm.
think by finding ways to do that and expedite that, it will let you come back to the gym or go back to another workout and basically perform at a higher, or if not like much better performance.
Yeah. um yeah, I think the the all point of recovery tools is just, like Jesus said, it's to get you back to where you were, right? We talked about that a lot in the main episode too. But it helps increase your blood flow, and make sure that your body is repairing correctly, right? And that's kind of like the gist behind all of these tools. At least that's what they should be, right? It's getting your mobility back, getting your strength back. One of the more underrated tools that I think that most people can do and costs almost like no money, that gets overlooked a lot when talking about recovery tools, to be honest, is something as simple as a foam roller and a lacrosse ball. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, you can use a golf ball. Tennis balls are okay. They're a little bit too they're not as dense and they don't get as deep in my opinion. But like I honestly keep a lacrosse ball in my backpack at all times. You know, we talked about portability earlier. The lacrosse ball is like this big, like you can keep it in your backpack or your gym bag, and it doesn't take up like any space, and you can work out your own tissue, and do almost like self massage, but obviously you're using something else, so it allows you to like um, you're not like using your own hands to like massage yourself. You can like change the pressure on it, and stuff. And I think those are really good tools. You can go to a Big Five or a Dick's Sporting Goods, or probably even like again a Walmart or a Target, and find a lacrosse ball for like a couple of dollars and just learn how to use it.
Mhm.
um Foam rollers are good too, not as portable but still on the cheap side. Those things are lifesavers too, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I use a lacrosse ball. I have it with me. I take it to the office the days I go into the office. We have I have like multiple foam rollers here. I think those are really good options. I want to throw in there, for another like cheap alternative, simply is stretching. Yeah, I
Mm,
think if you do all three when you're stretching, you're either foam rolling or have a lacrosse ball to pretty much any part of your body, it's gonna feel really great and it's gonna do wonders to you.
yeah. Yeah, I think those are really good points. Stretching in combination with all of these like tools it's like a really good combo. Stretching is free, and then if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can get one of the cheaper things like a lacrosse ball foam roller, or a cream if you want to try that too. Or you can go a little bit more on the high end and do a massage gun, or get a massage, stuff like that. But voice sound weird?
No.
Um, um, but the a different tool that some of you may have access to, some of you may not have access to, is a jacuzzi. Um, I think jacuzzis are super underrated. Everyone again thinks about them for like relaxing and stuff, but I think if you live in like a complex, and have a jacuzzi, or if you have a home and happen to have a jacuzzi or something like that, I would use it a lot more often. When I was um, on my summer breaks from college, at my parents' house, they have a small little jacuzzi, and I would spend like upwards of an hour to 2 hours in the jacuzzi, like 3 to 4 times a week, because one, felt good, but two, I felt like it really allowed my recovery and my muscles to speed up a lot faster. Again, we talk about how most of these recovery tools are meant to like increase your blood flow, get like new nutrients to your like damaged tissues and stuff like that. um, I think the jacuzzi is a really good one as well, to be honest. And I think it's you know I think it's pretty enjoyable. Out of the
Mhm.
other ones, they're like probably like the least amount of pain. you
Yeah,
know
yeah. Yeah,
so
you literally get to sit in the jacuzzi, enjoy your time, maybe, have a glass of wine. And if you have wine, if watching a movie or do something, you just get to sit there, and it's pretty easy. Um, yeah, before we wrap this up, I also want to throw out there's a couple other popular ones that are, pretty expensive, but I think if you watch any kind of sports, you've seen them. They're called the Normatec sleeves.
mhm.
They look like those big boots that you go all the way up to your like thigh, your hips, right? And basically what it does is just providing pressure. It's almost like another form of massage on your legs, and I know you could put it on your shoulders as well. That's another really good option if you have access to that, or if you want to spend some big bucks and get that for yourself at home. I think those are really good options. But like I said, or how Jake said earlier, you could go and get cheaper alternatives first and work
Mhm.
your way up. At the end of the day, all these recovery tools that we mentioned today, basically do the same thing. They help you one way or another. I think if you stack them up or find ways to combine all of these, you'll be more than solid.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a pretty good summary. I just want to touch on two more methods that I know that I've experienced with that are, sort of on the popular side that you probably again see like a lot of athletes do that you might be curious about. Cupping is a really big one. Um, you can get that done professionally, or you can go on Amazon like I do and buy your own cupping set, and you just need a friend to be able to pull the trigger to remove all the air out of the cups and stuff like that. I like it. I don't think it's like a big game changer. I don't think it's as good as some of the other things that are on this list that we already talked about. I think it's cool. But another one is like scraping. I know that like you can call it Graston, you can call it gua sha, which is like what I learned, a stem if you're in like a clinic or something like that. um, Scraping basically is just like it's like a massage but with a tool, and you like repeatedly like rub over the same muscle group until like you get like intentional bruising almost. And like I'm a really big fan of that one, to be honest, but that's probably the least enjoyable out of all of these on this list. So, you know, I would recommend getting it done by a professional just to, stay safe. But if you are interested in like scraping Graston, or a stem or anything like that, I do really think that it works, but just know that it comes at a really big pain cost. Like
Yes.
it is not fun. You can speak on that one too. I know that all the roommates that I've had, I've basically like been able to like uh practice scraping because I have my own set too, and everyone knows that's done it hurts. So um if you're interested, go to a professional. It works for me, but
Hmm.
not again the most enjoyable thing to do. So I'm pretty much good. You got any other
Yeah.
things, any other methods you want to throw out there?
No, I think we pretty much covered all the more popular ones, all the ones we pretty much recommend using.
Last one, cryotherapy.
Oh, cryo.
So for those of you that don't know, cryotherapy is like it's a you stand in like a big tube, right? And it pumps really really cold air, sub-zero temperatures, and you basically are only in there for a few seconds at a time because of how cold it is. But it's basically similar to an ice bath without having to jump into cold water.
Hmm.
um, you like stay dry during it. I've never personally tried it. I know that some people do it and they swear by it, but from what I understand, it gives basically the same effects that like an
Hmm.
ice bath would, if you have access to that, because that's cheaper and you can make that at home if you want to and stuff. So
Yeah,
um,
I've tried cryo a few times. I think it's a really good option. It's supposed to target the more deeper um, tissues and layers of your skin and your
mhm.
muscles. So that's kind of like the reason why people try to choose that over an ice bath. But it's also comes with like it's also really freaking expensive. You
Yeah,
know.
you're spending like how much, like upwards of like $50 a session, for like 30 seconds of standing in a tube.
Minute.
So
Yeah.
cost to time ratio, not the best. But yeah, I think that's it for me. That's all the things that I've tried, that I like, that I think are like worth the money, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm all good to go.
I'm
Anything?
all good.
All right, guys. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace out.
Peace.